This is a brand new song for us today, and I have both friends but a symbolic group, so I just want to name that today. And I chose you all specifically to represent first and foremost our elders. So Uncle Ray is here, my new friend here, and you represent people who came who didn't really know us. But you took the step of faith of coming anyway, all the way from South Africa. Another new person to us who again took the step of faith, but also one of our presenters. And so I chose you to come. Over here, one of our students at NAIITS, around the drum. And Stu representing our partner schools that join with us. And so that's why I've chosen you for this today. And we'll try our best to sing this together. And the part that is will be recognizable to us. And I talked with Lo King and made sure that I was saying the call. It was the same thing that we sang yesterday, just a bit of a different maybe melody to it, but the same words, o, e, he, okay? And the words that I chose came a little bit to me today. Do you want to say something before? No.
The women behind you need to be also introduced.
I was going to do that, yeah. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. Yes. The words that came to me today was inspired by the artists who've been in the back at the table, and especially the weaving that I saw going on. And so it's to honor the ancestors and us as a community. That's also why I'm holding my phone while I'm playing, because the words are still new. And then I want to finally honor the women who've always been joining us in the back. And who do I see behind me? Okay. So my Auntie Karen back here, my sister Hokabed, Diane, thank you for being here, Jen, M, Cecilia, all representing teachers, students, PhD students, administrative teaching, and so thanks for everyone being here. I've only named these people in this particular circle. Hopefully you've seen that there's been many people up here through the time leading in the drum, and so this will be our last big drum song together as a community, but of course we'll have our closing ceremonies after. So the name of the song is Weave Us Together.
Halito, friends. Ooh, not on yet. One more song. All right, I've been given permission by Danny to MC again. Thank you. Yes. Well,
If you could follow the instructions, it would be really good.
that assumes I know how to read. We are oral people. So, friends, it is a distinct honor, like a circle, to end the way we began with me and Danny emceeing the symposium. So it's been a lovely thing. Part of the experience of writing a book is all the podcasts we've been on. And one of the questions we get asked a lot on these podcasts are, what is it like to co-author a book? And one of the beautiful things about this is that I can't neatly divide what's mine and what's Danny's. That we everything that I wrote, Danny meticulously went through, crossed out, and rewrote, and everything that Danny wrote, I tried to do, and he would slap my hands. But it was a pretty a collaborative event. And given the gravity and the importance of closing, well, not fully closing, but being the final MCs of this, we thought it's better to show than tell about how we wrote our book. Yeah.
thank you very much for inviting us to be the MCs. Our words are good words. They started with Danny. They went through me, were refined, and made better to speak before all of you today. The first thing we want to do is acknowledge that someone has a birthday here today, one of our elders. And so I'm going to lead in the birthday song for Uncle Adrian. Huh? Oh, wait. Huh? Oh, wait. All right, everyone together. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Adrian. Happy birthday to you. I swear that is, yeah, very good. Clap. I swear that is my real voice. It is. Thank you very much for understanding now the dynamic of the relationship between Danny and me. It's a good one. We walk in a good, sacred way together. We'll now invite up our sister, Melody. Please give her a hand.
Well, it's unfortunate for you that I am not funny, so there will be no more laughs. Yakwe, hafa de, malo elele, keola, kiora. Warm Pacific greetings. Ko toku Melody Berquist Turori, and I have the joy and privilege of introducing an embodiment of human enthusiasm, which is my cousin Caleb. Caleb and I actually met here at NAIITS in the permanent PhD program. We got on Zoom one day, and I had heard that there was supposed to be another Cook Island student joining the PhD program, which I thought was odd and probably incorrect. And then there he was in the Zoom. And his last name is Haurua, and my first Cook Islands elder and mentor, his family name was Haurua, and he always told me that we were related, and he never explained it. So I said, maybe we're related. And Caleb was like, yeah. And then I added him on Facebook, and I saw all of our mutual connections, and I went, oh, we're like real related. And then he happened to be online at the same time, which is basically the entirety of our relationship now. So he accepted the friend request, and then immediately was in my messages saying, how are you related to these people? And so we did a bunch of back and forth, and as we were sorting it out, he goes, I'm on the phone with my dad. And I said, I'm on the phone with mine. And that's what it's been like ever since. One of us puts something in the chat, and then if we're online, I don't know on your end, but on my end, I suddenly become very distracted, and 30 or 45 minutes have gone by, and I've done nothing but riff with Caleb. And I think the cohort is all the better off for you being in it, because I'm pretty sure we laugh at least twice as much as we used to, both with and at Caleb. So before I read you his official biography, a couple of housekeeping things. Instead of Q&R at the end, we are actually going to Talanoa. And this felt appropriate in response to Caleb's storytelling, because the Tasi is here, the Solwara is here, the Moana is here. So Hannah, myself, and Jen will jump up here at the end. And then after Caleb's story, we're going to pause in reflection. Part of Talanoa is not filling the space with the sound of our voices at all times. Silence is not empty. It is like the va, which is the space between us. It is full of meaning. So if that brings you panic to sit quietly for a few moments, just lean into it. It'll be over soon. Caleb Trouble Haurua. Oh, is that your typo? Caleb Tangaroa Haurua is a doctoral candidate at NAIITS, specializing in the intersections of Māori Language Reclamation, Indigenous Christian Spirituality, and decolonial ecclesial praxis. His current PhD project, He Tai Timu, He Tai Pari, and Ebbing Tide, a returning tide, Decolonizing Christian Spirituality through Māori Language Reclamation, explores how Māori epistemologies and linguistic revitalisation shape contemporary Māori Christian identity and practice, while interrogating the theological, structural, and epistemic dimensions of whiteness in settler-colonial churches. His work contributes to critical conversations on race, authority, and Indigenous agency within global contexts. Please welcome Caleb Haurua.
Ko koe i o matua te kore. Ko koe i o te waiora. Ko koe i o te pukenga, te kaihanga o ngā mea katoa. Ko koe te toka, te maunga teitei. Ko koe i o. Te timatanga te kupu ko te atua, te kupu ko te atua no te kupu. Nana nei ngā mea katoa. Ruhia, ruhia, ōpia, ōpia, tāhia, tāhia. Kia hemo ake te kā koa koa, kia herea mai ki te kā koa kora ki e tātaki mai ana. I tāna pūkoro koro whai koro. Heku aka māranga ranga kotahi te manui tau atu ki te tāhuna. Tau atu, tau atu, tau atu. Tēnā koutou i o koutou tini mate, haere ngā mate. Haere atu rā, haere atu rā. Haere ki tō tātou matua nui te rangi, haere, haere, haere. Haere ki hauai ki nui, hauai ki roa, hauai ki pāmama. Āpiti hono tātai hono rātou te hunga mate, kia rātou. Āpiti hono tātai hono tātou te hunga ora kia tātou. E tuku ana taku mihi ki ngā maunga nei, ki ngā aua, ki te moana. E haka tina na au, i taku maunga, taku aua. Tēnei te mihi kia koutou, tēnei te mihi, tēnei te mihi. Ki te iwi, mikmā, te haukainga nei. E takahia ana, ai, i te whenua, o mikmāgi, i roto i tō koutou reo, Uncle Terry. Tō koutou whānau, koe. Me mihi atu, ahau ki a koutou. Ki te whare nei, e tū mai rā, e tū mai rā hei hakaruru hau ki a tātou. Tēnei te mihi, ki e nei whare o a keiria. Anō hoki ki a koe, ki te rangatira, whaia ena. Tēnei te mihi, ki a koutou. Ko te tuakana Deni, tchē. Aku rangatira, tēnei te mihi ki a koutou. Mai ngā haue whā, ngā kaumātua, ngā karaua, ngā tamariki. Kia ora. Ki ngā iwi take o te ao, mai ngā whenua, Tāwāhi, no Amerika, no Whirika, no Aotearoa, te whenua o Ngāti Moimoia, ki ngā motu o te moana nui a kiwa, hiwa, kea, tēnei te mihi, mahana, kia koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa. Just kidding. So instead of translating, I just wanted to pick something out from what I said. That's what I said. Or was it? No, it was. One thing, whenever we speak at spaces that are new, we need to find an ancestral connection. And thankfully, there is Google. And I found a saying that I said right at the beginning. And it actually came to me, and I went, I wonder if this bird is connected here. And it's a saying of the kuaka, which is the godwit. There is the Hudsonian godwit is what my ancestral people see. The godwit, it flies all the way over to Alaska, and it makes sweet, sweet love. Is this true? And then it flies all the way back to New Zealand non-stop, loses half of its weight on the way. The Bay of Fundy has, every year, the arrival of the kuaka. Now, it's its cousin, which I wrote down here, the bar-tailed godwit, and they make sweet, sweet love in the Arctic Circle. They stop because they're obviously not as, tough as the Kiwi ones. And they stop in the Bay of Fundy. They feed, and then they fly straight to South America. And so how appropriate it is that a saying that is hundreds of years old to my people is one that I can use here. How appropriate that my ancestors and the ancestors of these lands saw and noticed the flight, the magic, and the presence of the kuaka. And so, pretty cool, eh? So, who is this fella standing before you? Who do I belong to? Oh, that's backwards. Whose am I is the real question. In the Māori world, we have ways of answering this. It's not about me, the lone individual, but the ancestors who come before me. So here is my answer that I'm about to give you. I normally do this in Māori, but I'll do it in English because I'm a nice native, despite all the rumours otherwise. I stand atop my sacred mountain called Rākau Tapu, gazing downward toward the waters of my river, Te Tapuai o Tū Whakararo. It flows endlessly into the great ocean of Hokianga Hakapau Karakia. Anchored in the memories of the tides is the great ocean vessel of my ancestors, Ngā Tuki Mata Whaurua. My face turns homeward to the ancestral lands of my sub-tribes, Ngai Tūpoto and Ngāti Here. We who are part of the wider tribe known as Te Rarawa Kaiwhare, which translates to the people who consume all. Boo. There stands the meeting house, bearing the names of Ngā Huia, our ancestress, whose father Ru was one of 3 ancestors that signed Te Tiriti o Waitangi, the Treaty of Waitangi. She married a white man, a Pākehā Māori as they would call them, Christopher Harris, and tens of thousands of their descendants exist today from this union. I come off the line of one of their sons, on your left, the far left. And his name is Nui Hare, and he was a Catholic catechist and a Māori tōhunga, a man versed in prayers from the land and from the Holy Book. He had a son named Pere, who sent 3 of his sons to fight in World War II as part of the world-renowned Māori Battalion, which was made up of 5 tribal companies, and my great-great-grandfather, my great-grandfather was one of them. They were affectionately known as the Gum Diggers because of all the trees in the north. And they were known to do haka in battle. And they were known for acts of bravery as they embodied the god of war, Tūmatauenga. My great-grandfather, Private Christopher Harris, the closest to me, was killed in action in 1942 in Egypt. E moi e te rangatira, e moi. Kei ware ware tātou. His eldest daughter and 3 sons were left behind. This is that daughter. This is my karani ma, my nana, Kathleen Harris. She still guides me, she still holds me. I miss her dearly. I think of her almost every day, and especially when I'm doing PhD work, which is kind of funny because I'm sure she wouldn't have really cared. These are my parents. Her son, Akata, which means reflection in the Māori language. His father came from several islands in the northern group of Awaikinui, so-called Cook Islands. The islands are Rakahanga, Manahiki, and Aitutaki. My mama, Anania, whose parents come from the island of Rarotonga, Tumu Te Warewaru, and from the villages of Ngātangia and Ruatonga. Special shout out to them if they're watching, if they love me enough to wake up at 5 a.m, and if not, what's up? These are my ancestors, Oku Tūpuna, mountains, rivers, chiefs, grandfathers and grandmothers. I am because they are. Now, like all of you, I'm fully aware that this is the last presentation. And like all of you, I would love to sit through a 45-minute academic presentation with every citation read out loud. And so I am about to do that. Just kidding, I don't want a shoe thrown at me by Mike Hocklitip. You'll throw a shoe at me, won't you, bro? Cool. Multiple shoes. So, as I was saying, I think I'm going to be a good ancestor, and I'm not going to do that. What I offer to you now is a little bit different than what I originally planned, and that's okay. But for those of you who do need and want that, I'm going to tell you what I was going to do. I was going to define ancestor according to the languages of my people. I was going to talk about the problems that we've faced, such as settler-colonialism and white supremacy. I was going to talk about the wounds that is inflicted upon our people, especially from the church. A church that's often unreflective, unrepentant, and unchanging. And then I was going to talk about the good medicine. How we remember our ancestors, how we can reclaim our language and our ways, and how we can restore, and by restoring, we are resisting. And I was going to create a path forward. But because I'm still a long way to go on my PhD, I want to save it for that. And somewhere in the heavenlies right now, that paper exists. But for now, here is a story. She was a little girl sitting in a church built on top of a hill. Her great-grandfather had made it himself. His penance for a sin committed years ago, according to the priest. His first wife, she had died, and as was Māori custom, he remarried her sister. 7 years. He waited outside those doors for 7 years. He would beg the priest for Holy Communion. After every service, he would lie prostrate on the ground, face in the dirt, at once the lowest place and connected intimately to his mother earth, Papa Tuanuku. He drew his strength from her, and each time he was ignored, he asked her, why? Why me? What must I do? Is the church. 7 years, the priest said, finally, yes, build the church, but fund it yourself. So he did. He died days before it was to open. To our people, there was a tohu. It was a sign. Mate ate atu te kura, haramai te kura. As one fern frond dies, another lives. Or as the famous haka goes, aha, kamate, kamate, kaora, kaora. There is death, there is death, there is life, there is life. The Marist brothers saw it as plain hard luck, something potentially sinister. Anyway, I digress. Back to the little girl. As she sat on the pew, she could see through stained glass windows the great harbour spread out before her, the sounds of the tide ebbing and returning. He Tai Timu, the ebbing tide. He Tai Pari, the returning tide. She is entranced by the melody, the flow, the rhythm of the waters. She hears the rhythm of voices chanting beside her. Mum, dad, siblings, cousins, aunties, uncles. She listens to the strange language they utter, only heard in those four walls. And then they sing. Mo Maria Yane, Mo Tato Waiata, Ki Aka Kia Anua, Kia Nui Te Aroha. She goes between worlds easily, with fluency and without any disruption, as she sits on that pew. Fast forward many years, this formation inside of a formation, it is small and it is overwhelmed by life. Overwhelmed by the tragedy that is life in a colonizing world. A father killed on foreign soil for what? The bloody white man's stupid war. Pathetic. She, the oldest, the daughter, the one who has the mana and the responsibility, she leaves. The memory of her father, the pew where she sat within worlds, the big smoke, the promise of milk and honey. Concrete, factory lines. Gentrification, public housing for brown bodies only. Low incomes, low expectations, the sounds of babies crying, boys climbing, playgrounds, fences, trees, anything really. These boys, man, you know what little brown boys are like? Mischievous, inquisitive, always yearning for more. More time for more play with more friends. The old ways, the old words disappear into dirty air. But the rhythm of the tides, ebbing, receding, sometimes still plays in a mother's heart. Her world is still inside him, but it is getting harder to hear. The harbour is not visible, the tide is not spoken about, only remembered in fragments. Placed on the dining room table in between card games and smoked cigarettes and cups of tea, lots of cups of tea, like something you almost dreamt. He grows up in contradiction. Faith untouched and objectively good, true and pleasing to the white man's Lord. Work, a means to an end, and a pretty low end at that. Survival. And the old language begins to sit back in his mouth, and although he sits on pews, he cannot hear, nor can he speak. And then he has a son, carrying what was spoken and what wasn't, carrying inside him the feeling of a tide you can't quite explain, but still feeling the pull. He grows up and he sees things, he learns things. He becomes the man, educated, self-sufficient, desirable and impressive. Foundations are built like concrete slabs on soft ground. A big house is constructed, and inside he sits on his throne, content. A king among kings, a builder in a world full of builders. reaching, grasping to become big chiefs and big dogs. Dressed up in religious fervour, he is winning, always, never failing. But then one day, he sits on his throne and he hears it. He hears her laugh. Instinctively, he reaches out for her calloused hands, heading aropa, but she is not there. And yet, he hears her laugh. She is laughing at him. He turns to his father, and his father, he is humming a song. It's familiar. What is that, Dad? As he opens his mouth to sing, no words come out. But music, there is music. My nana's laugh, my father's song. These have been unmistakable sounds that I've heard my whole life, compelling me, disturbing me, leading me to question constantly. And so, I name things, just like they love to do. But I name the wounds. With naming comes mana, mauri, ihi, te wehi, te wana, theology. Whiteness in our stories is often not named. It sits as normal, default, neutral. Thus, it is powerful, precisely because it disappears into everything. But nothing fully disappears. The irony is not lost. When they first asked my peoples what we were, what we called ourselves, their answer, my ancestors' answer was Māori, which means normal, ordinary. And so it is that we must give ourselves new names. We must name things again for what they really are, for what they always were. But what comes after the naming? The reclaiming of land, of language, of practices, of songs that make you cry, make you proud, make you haka, of stories and ancestors, and the names of our babies, of our places, of our shorelines and our forests, the return, like the tide and rhythm, ebbing and returning, he Tai Timu, he Tai Pari. Formation, forming our tongues, reforming our tongues to that of our ancestors. This is medicine. This is good medicine. Rongoa, the Māori word for medicine, at its roots is the word rongo, which means to listen, to see, to taste, to touch, with all of the senses. That's what listening means to us. And this is the work that we are doing now, every day, little by little. And so what is the result? It is not the destination. It is a river, moving us, metanoia, shaping us, forming us, cleansing us of what was not us. Baptized into the waters with my ancestors, I can see again, feel again, I can taste again, and I begin to hear it. I sit there, a little boy on a pew in a little church on a hill, and I hear it. Nana's laugh, like the trickster. I feel her hand hold mine as we belly laugh together. And again, I hear it as we stand to sing, his hand in mine. My dad, he sings. But it is not just our voices emanating from those halls. No, Tūpuna, ancestors, mukapuna, grandchildren. I hear her laugh and I hear his song. Now, finally. Every weekday at 8:30 a.m., when I drop my kids off to a place where the only language is the language of our ancestors, where each morning they stand and they recite their mountain, their river, their waka, their tribes, and our ancestors. And I hear it again at 3 p.m., when songs of our ancestors ring out from the hall, from the mouth of babes, My sons stand to pray in my mother tongue to our Creator. And I hear it again at night when I put them to bed. And my son in our and my grandmother's language prays for Paratinea, for the Congo, for West Papua, and for all the people of this world that know the world just like we do, but also know the struggle. My children, they are not between worlds. They do not go between them either. Now they stand without division, without fear. I hear it now all the time, her laugh and his song, and my youngest son, whose name is Te Ara Tai. His name describes how the water from the sacred mountains touches the waters of Te Moana Nui a Kiwa, the ocean. Te, which means the. Ara, which means pathway. And Tai, which is the tide. The tides that make a way for us, ebbing, receding, always moving. He Tai Timu, he Tai Pari. Nō reira. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa.
Tamaine o te moana. Kua mamau koe ki wao, aki i te enua. Me rango koe i taku imene. E oki mai mā to'o ai taiaki ki aku. Tama o te moana. Te enua te mō i tō kōrero, e puarenga oki to'o i pukarea, te tai, maunga, e te rangi. Tamaite o te moana. Te kawe are i te enua, i roto i tō auiwi. Te kapiki mai rā tō o moana. Ta kapiki mai rā tō o ipukarea. Te mā ara o mai, rā tō o kainga, i a koe tō piri i tō o mata. Aka maru mari e, i tō o nākau. Aka rango mai i a mātou. Jen, if you would like to join us.
In these voice is a bit shot, sorry. In these spaces, there can be a temptation to conform to what is normal. Thank you for not conforming. What Caleb has shared is at the heart of where we are at as a people, and he has brought that to you. It is why I honoured him with that haka. Just by way of explanation, the haka was basically saying, I am so overwhelmed, my blood runs hot, and asking for something to come and cool me down. We have a relationship that is friendship. Culturally, we would describe it as tuakana, where I am the elder, he is the younger. It is my responsibility to enable him to be all that he is. And he reciprocates that by helping me do that job. Caleb has brought himself to this, and I'm honouring him because of my responsibility as his tuakana. But I hope that this offering of tuakana taina and what he shared, my reciprocity to that, is freedom and permission giving for every other Indigenous person here who was on that journey of reclamation. I was not born with this. I do not speak Maireo. He is another generation and he does. And it is the intergenerational journey that NAIITS is uniquely upholding and it ushers everybody into. So yes, we wānanga, we talanoa like what we're doing, but that's what I got out of his presentation, from his ancestors down to his nan, who, I don't know if you can see, but he's brought photos of his nan and his parents and a stone from his river. This is what it is to be Indigenous. And Caleb has opened up that space for us. That's about all I've got to say. Tēnā koutou. No, it's not, apparently. He's also the first Māori PhD candidate. So.
Nei rā te mihi ki a koe te rangatira. Just wanted to acknowledge Brother Caleb here for speaking truth, for naming things that many of us in Indigenous spaces and Indigenous faith spaces are struggling with and are wrestling with. And I think it echoes a lot of the sentiments that's happened here over the last couple of days. If I heard correctly, in my jet lag adjusting brain, similar to yours, brother. But just to also mihi atu kia koe te mare kura, Hannah Chapman. A few months ago, Hannah heard me speak and she said, you need to get to Nova Scotia. So I was like, okay, I'll Google where that is and then we'll figure out how to get here. So, but I think Caleb highlighted something that maybe is not unique to our side of Moana Nui Akiwa, but we are, I would assume we're millennials. We're both in the same generation, and which means if we're millennials, we're kind of born in between the late 80s to early 2000s. And I mentioned that because growing up as a kid, we're used to hearing stories of brown excellence. And brown excellence was often a term that would be thrown out at graduation ceremonies, which were lovely, were amazing. We'd see our people cross the stage and they'd become lawyers and doctors and everything you could think of that would happen at a graduation stage. We're of that generation that growing up, it was normal for people to succeed in a world that's not very much similar to the Anglosphere here in Canada and the United States. But what we also thought what was normal was brown excellence came at the cost of brown identity. Fortunately now, working with a lot of our young people now, there's been a shift. And that shift is posing the question. And the question is it still brown excellence if it's measured with a white ruler? Gone are the days where we sacrifice our, I was going to say native tanga. You get so used to merging the words, where you sacrifice your indigeneity to learn the language of success, to learn the language or the ways of success. But that's not really happening anymore. And Caleb's one of the many proof of that. Gone are the days where people are saying, it's okay if I lose my language as long as I get that degree. Now we have a wave of young people standing up saying, no, brown excellence to me means I'm getting that degree, but I'm also reclaiming my language. And I say that because this is one of the many drops in the water, the tides of change that NAIITS is a part of. And so I want to say another acknowledgement on mihi to our leaders, to Uncle Terry and our leaders in the room, and Uncle Ray, because NAIITS is very much at the crux of disrupting the intergenerational transfer of spiritual iniquity. And it's my first time here, so we're just being a part of it. So, a tēnā koutou katoa mālolahi.
A few years ago, I had the opportunity to take a Cook Islands language class online for 30 weeks of the year. And it was tough because it was on at 11 p.m. and we finished about 1. And my capacity for all language turns off about midnight, if not sooner. And for a while, I dreamed of fluency. And I had to relinquish that dream because of where I am located here on the continent. And then along came Caleb. I think that one day our nieces and nephews who are growing up here, at least one of them will want their reo. And I will not have to show them where to go because they will already know you. And then they are your responsibility. Ato I will for your words and your story and your presence.
I'm just going to end with a prayer. Okay. Kia tātou kātoa, te ata whai o tō tātou ariki a ihu karaiti, me te aroha o te atua, me te whiwhinga tahitanga ki te wairua tapu, ake, amine. And may the grace of the Lord Jesus Christ, the love of God, and the fellowship of the Holy Spirit be with you all. Amen.
Can we get another round of applause for all of our presenters and all our marketplace presenters and all our facilitators and worship leaders? What sign language are you giving me, Danny? I don't have the notes for the announcements. If there are some things that you would like me to say, I certainly have things to say. Ah, okay, thank you. That was the 5. I thought you wanted to give me a high 5. Danny doesn't want to touch me. Danny's worship song leading us was Weave Us Together in Love. And friends, throughout this whole symposium, I have seen new friendships and new relationships weaving together in love. Friends, I have seen campus ministers who do Indigenous ministry meet together for the first time, weaving themselves in love. I've seen people with clinical pastoral care and counseling thinking about the future of Indigenous counseling, weaving themselves in love. I have seen individuals who thought they were the only person who was Indigenous doing a form of study, whether it's Old Testament study or theology, meeting for the first time, weaving themselves in love. Friends, the magic of the symposium doesn't stop here. When 2 symposiums ago, I gathered some ministers who were working on theological education in the United States, and I was pulled aside by one of them, and they said, if you want to do anything meaningful, if you want this to go somewhere, you have to intentionally meet together. You have to bring us together once a month and to keep this conversation going. We don't know where this is going to go. Well, friends, that conversation led to a grant that provides my new job, but that really provides resources for our doctoral students to do these kinds of gatherings. It provides a lot more, that's not the space this is. Let me tell you another story, though, that earlier this year, there were 4 individuals that I've gotten to know and deeply love who all saw the connection between Indigenous spirituality and Christian contemplative practices and medieval practices. None of them knew each other. And we said, what would it look like for you all to get together intentionally online every Monday to practice prayer, to talk about your gifts, and let's see where that goes. Well, friend, those conversations led to greater visions and dreams, and the thought came, what if we built a relationship with Richard Rohr and the Center for Action and Contemplation? That turned into an invitation to write a journal article on what is ours to do. The invitation was, what is ours to do at the end of the world? And friends, I'm telling you, it is the most beautiful 800 words I've ever read, written by 3 native scholars and practitioners, thinking about the role of dance and dance as prayer. And not just abstractly, but people who actually dance in stomp grounds. And this is going to be a gift to the Richard Rohr Center. This is going to build more relationships. And ultimately, this is going to be a gift for the church, weaving ourselves in love. So friends, we have a closing ceremony. We're going to give you 5 minutes to get out and to reconvene out there. But 10 minutes. Praise Jesus. I saw Matt get up there and put hands up. 10 minutes. You have 10 minutes to go and find that person and to get that phone number. You have 10 minutes to get that email. You have 10 minutes to make an appointment of when you are going to connect. Because friends, there are other sons out there. There are other ways to do congregational ministries. There are other ways of writing. There are other ways of serving that we need you. And we need these relationships for the 7 generations ahead of us. And when you make those appointments, those holy appointments, know that you have 7 generations of ancestors that are smiling. Amen. 10 minutes, friends.